What if the endless, scorching, and completely barren sand dunes of the Sahara Desert are actually hiding the greatest secret in human history? Today, the mighty Sahara is the largest hot desert on the entire planet, an unforgiving, shifting ocean of sand spanning over 3.5 million square miles. It is a harsh, arid, and deadly environment where midday temperatures can easily soar high enough to melt the thick rubber directly off the soles of your shoes. For thousands of years, modern humanity has viewed this vast, terrifying expanse as a completely dead, empty void, totally devoid of historical significance or ancient secrets. Most historians believe that human civilization as we know it simply bypassed this desolate region, focusing entirely on the fertile river valleys to the east. But modern geological evidence and advanced satellite imaging reveal a terrifying and completely mind-blowing truth about this desolate, golden wasteland. Just a few thousand years ago, during a fascinating and relatively recent geological epoch known as the African Humid Period, the Sahara was absolutely nothing like it is today. Instead of endless dunes of burning, lifeless sand, the entire northern half of the African continent was a lush, vibrant, and sprawling green paradise. It was a breathtaking, prehistoric utopia, completely covered in dense, tropical vegetation, massive ancient megalakes, and a sprawling, intricate network of flowing, life-giving river systems. Massive, thunderous waterfalls carved their way through deep, green canyons, feeding into freshwater basins that were larger than the modern-day Caspian Sea. Massive herds of wild, exotic wildlife, including hippopotamuses, ancient crocodiles, and towering elephants, thrived where there is now absolutely nothing but shifting dust. We actually have direct, undeniable proof of this lost paradise. Ancient cave paintings discovered deep within the isolated desert mountains explicitly depict early humans swimming and fishing. These ancient, vivid rock murals show our ancestors hunting massive aquatic creatures in a region that hasn't seen a single drop of standing water in over 5,000 years. But what if human civilization advanced far earlier and far more rapidly than our modern, accepted history books currently claim? What if a highly advanced, incredibly sophisticated ancient human empire thrived in this green Saharan utopia long before the sudden, violent climate shift destroyed their world? Imagine a sprawling, ancient metropolis built with towering stone monuments, grand, glittering palaces, and complex, highly sophisticated agricultural irrigation canals. This lost golden society could have easily mastered advanced mathematics, astrology, and monumental stone architecture thousands of years before the ancient Egyptians built the Great Pyramids. They could have constructed colossal step pyramids of their own, along with sprawling stone libraries, their capital serving as the ultimate crown jewel of the prehistoric world. The streets of this lost empire would have been bustling with trade, philosophy, and advanced engineering, completely shielded by the abundance of the Green Sahara. But empires, no matter how powerful or technologically advanced they may seem to their citizens, are ultimately at the complete, terrifying mercy of the planet's changing climate. Around 5,000 years ago, the Earth's delicate orbital axis slowly and inevitably shifted, altering the global weather patterns and the trajectory of the Sun. As a direct result of this cosmic shift, the massive, predictable monsoon rains that had reliably fed the Green Sahara for millennia suddenly and completely stopped. The life-giving, seasonal storms vanished from the skies, triggering a catastrophic, continent-wide mega-drought that would violently change the course of human history forever. The massive, sprawling megalakes rapidly began to evaporate, shrinking day by day under the relentless, punishing heat of the unfiltered, blazing African sun. The lush, tropical vegetation quickly withered, dried up, and died, transforming the once fertile, dark soil into brittle, cracking clay and blowing dust. Without the deep root systems of the ancient forests to hold the earth together, the relentless creeping sand quickly and aggressively took over the landscape. Fierce, howling desert winds began to carry millions of tons of abrasive sand, slowly burying the outer agricultural edges of this magnificent ancient empire. The desperate, terrified citizens of this grand, starving society would have watched helplessly as their rivers turned to mud, and their crops were completely swallowed by the dunes. They would have been violently forced to permanently abandon their magnificent, dying cities to escape the advancing, unstoppable tide of the new desert. A massive, desperate human migration would have taken place, with millions of refugees fleeing frantically eastward toward the fertile, life-saving banks of the Nile River. It is entirely scientifically possible that these brilliant, displaced refugees from the Sahara were the actual, true founding fathers of the legendary Egyptian civilization. They may have brought their advanced knowledge of stone masonry, mathematics, and astrology with them, kickstarting the sudden, miraculous rise of the pharaohs. Meanwhile, back in the dying, silent desert, their towering stone temples, grand palaces, and glowing golden artifacts were left entirely to the mercy of the elements. Over the course of just a few grueling centuries, the massive stone monuments would have been swallowed entirely by the shifting, relentless dunes. Year after year, century after century, the golden sand piled higher and higher, effectively erasing every single visible trace that this magnificent, ancient society had ever existed. Today, these massive, lost cities would be completely and perfectly entombed under hundreds of feet of tightly packed, shifting Saharan sand. For thousands of years, they have rested in absolute darkness, perfectly preserved in a dry, arid, oxygen-deprived environment that halts the normal process of natural decay. But what if modern satellite imaging and advanced ground-penetrating radar are just now beginning to reveal the true, terrifying scale of this buried, forgotten empire? From high up in Earth's freezing orbit, highly specialized satellites have already detected the faint, undeniable outlines of ancient riverbeds hidden beneath the dunes. Even more shockingly, ground-penetrating radar scans have occasionally returned massive, unnatural geometric anomalies that look exactly like the square foundations of buried, ancient structures. If humanity were to officially mount a massive, unprecedented archaeological expedition into the very dead center of the Sahara, what terrifying secrets might we finally uncover? Underneath millions of tons of heavy, unstable sand, brave explorers could discover perfectly preserved stone megaliths, completely untouched by the ravages of time. Unlike the heavily looted tombs of ancient Egypt, these deeply buried Saharan vaults would have been completely protected from grave robbers for over 5 millennia. We might find vast, undisturbed underground libraries filled with ancient, unreadable hieroglyphs etched deeply into perfectly smooth, glowing stone tablets. Deciphering these ancient, forgotten texts could completely and utterly rewrite the entire accepted timeline of human, biological, and cultural evolution on this planet. Could the famous, enduring myths of Atlantis, El Dorado, and other lost golden cities actually be terrifying, inherited cultural memories of this exact buried Saharan empire? Perhaps the legendary city of Atlantis did not sink beneath the crushing waves of the ocean, but was instead swallowed by a terrifying, unstoppable ocean of golden sand. To fully excavate these massive, lost ruins, humanity would need to continuously move millions of cubic tons of shifting, unstable sand. We would have to operate in one of the harshest, deadliest, and most logistically isolated climates on Earth, hundreds of miles from the nearest source of fresh water. It would be an archaeological undertaking of unprecedented, terrifying scale, requiring advanced robotic excavation technology and massive, industrial-grade civil engineering. The blowing, chaotic desert winds would constantly threaten to instantly rebury the deep excavation sites, fighting aggressively against our efforts to uncover the forbidden truth. But the ultimate historical and scientific rewards would be absolutely staggering, potentially answering some of the greatest, darkest, and most profound mysteries of our own human origins. We might discover advanced ancient technologies, forgotten, highly accurate astronomical calendars, or mysterious, glowing artifacts that completely defy our current understanding of ancient human capability. Finding these ruins would force modern humanity to accept a deeply humbling and terrifying reality about our own perceived permanence on this planet. Uncovering this lost Sahara Empire would definitively prove that human societies are incredibly fragile and highly susceptible to the chaotic, uncaring whims of our global environment. It would serve as a dark, terrifying warning that even the greatest, most technologically advanced civilizations can be entirely erased by a sudden, violent shift in global climate. The towering skyscrapers, massive bridges, and sprawling concrete cities of our modern world are not immune to the exact same natural forces that buried the Green Sahara. We are currently walking directly on top of our own forgotten, buried past, separated from the magnificent, lost triumphs of our ancient ancestors by a massive, golden ocean of sand. Every single time the hot, dry desert wind howls across the massive dunes, it is blowing directly over the silent, stone tombs of powerful kings, brilliant scholars, and master architects. They ruled a lush, tropical paradise that has been entirely erased from the conscious memory of the human race, relegated to the realm of vague myth and whispered legend. If the immense, unforgiving Sahara Desert ever fully reveals its hidden, ancient secrets to modern humanity, it will completely shatter everything we thought we confidently knew about human history. It is a powerful, haunting reminder that the Earth keeps its deepest, darkest secrets buried securely, waiting patiently for the exact day when the sands finally shift. Until that fateful day arrives, the lost, golden civilization of the Green Sahara remains the ultimate, tantalizing historical mystery of our time. It is a ghostly, forgotten empire sleeping silently and peacefully beneath the burning, endless, and totally unforgiving dunes of northern Africa. The truth is down there, waiting in the absolute dark, buried beneath 5,000 years of dust, silence, and scorching, relentless heat. As modern technology continues to rapidly advance, our satellites will peer deeper and deeper through the golden veil, slowly pulling back the curtain on this ancient mystery. The discovery of a single, definitive stone monument breaking through the bedrock of the desert would instantly trigger the greatest gold rush in archaeological history. It challenges us to look out across the empty, terrifying wastes of the world's most famous desert and wonder what else are we completely wrong about. If this terrifying, mind-blowing journey into the lost history of the Sahara left you wanting more, make sure to hit the subscribe button